Blast me to Calmer's skull! It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 74. Full coverage, Part 1. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. So we're here with issue 74 and it's the Space Marine Firestrike Servoturret. So we have our base for it, we have our frame, and of course we have our issue. Before we get into anything, of course, as usual, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to also subscribe to the channel if you don't already, as it's the only way you can keep up to date with all my mad content. And of course, don't forget to drop a comment in the comment section down below. I love hearing back from all you guys, and it helps get the channel noticed a little more on Facebook, and it means I can make better content for you all to enjoy. Right then, let's dive into 74. So as usual, we'll take a look at the frame first of all, then we'll take a look through our magazine. Here we have the Space Marine Firestrike Servoturret. We have a 80mm round base, and first off, these holes are a little too small for the pegs. So what I will do is I will get my knife and just gently enlarge each of those holes a little bit. If you haven't got a knife, just use the end of your mold line remover and you should easily be able to make the holes a little larger. Moving on to the frame itself then. Come on camera, focus. It's pretty cool. We got two different guns. So we've got the Las Talons and we've got the Icarus autocannons. So both are ideally anti-air guns, but it's a fire based turret that can be used to gun down pretty much anything. We have our Tech Marine built up of a few components. His bionic arm even plugs directly into the gun, which I find kind of weird, but it is what a Tech Marine is. And we got his arm here. We've also got a cable that goes directly into his head. So one of his eyes is plugged directly into the gun's targeting system itself, helping him better pinpoint his targets. So this kit is pretty cool and it is fairly versatile. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be leaving a lot of the guns and their ammo packs loose, so I won't be gluing them down, because you can easily switch between the two different types of ammo. You've got the drum feeds here for the auto cannons, and then you've got these battery packs for the Las Talon array. And then for the guns, they just peg into these ports here, very simply. And yeah, you'll also plug this bit onto the front. So you may need to remove this. So again, I'm probably not going to glue this down either, just to make swapping components a lot easier. So yeah, the main holes on the base are for these support feet to go down into, and then we have a third hole for this optional piece of stone work there. Yeah, nice little kit. It's, again, not one of my favourite Space Marine units, but it is probably a little more up there on my list than the ATV. I do like that these things can just be dropped down from space and then set up and are a semi-mobile because they have grav plates so they can move slowly, and the nice little mobile fire bases. Really, really cool. Right, let's take a look through issue 74. Here we are with issue 74. As we can see on the front cover here, we have the Chaos Space Marines featured inside. We got our Firestrike Servoturret, full datasheet, building and painting guides. So we have our battle record, The Fall of Demenor, a story featuring Demons of Khorne and Blood Angels. Chaos Demons faction focus on Khorne, and a couple of Space Wolf heroes, Ulrich the Slayer and Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Build and paint our Servoturret, datasheet for our Servoturret, and the Legions Rise, a brand new mission for our Veteran pack. So, heavy support to the Firestrike Servoturret, deployable support weapon. This turret weapon is designed to be deployed alongside Space Marine strike forces, granting them extra firepower and allowing them to establish and hold forward defensive positions. It may be slow moving, but the Firestrike Servoturret can lay down a punishing base of fire. Piloted by Tech Marines, these one-man gun platforms are, as that says, pretty versatile and usable as a frontline support defense weapon. So once we've established a forward base, these guys can be patrolling perimeter, gunning down any approaching enemies. We have a built-in servo skull to help with targeting. We've got the twin autocannons and the grav plates to help it move along the battlefield. We can optionally swap out for the twin las talon, so if we want some extra armor punch, we have that option there. So on the back we can name our Tech Marine. So this is Belleron Veneris, and he is piloting the turret Ixian Pride. We also have a couple of tick boxes here. So one for fortified position, so if you spend the entire game contesting an objective, bring it down, destroying a unit with 3 or more wounds, and hold your ground, tick this if you survive an entire game. Nice little fun additional play feature there to add to your games. I thought I would be using these a lot, but I just tend to forget them. I did make notes for the first 20 or so missions where it wasn't a lot happening, writing down which characters did what. It's up to you what you do with these. They're pretty cool either way. Moving on then, we got a nice long story. This is The Fall of Demenor. Khorne demands blood. On the blood-soaked surface of Demenor, Chaos Space Marines of the World Eaters and their demonic allies descend upon the planet's last remaining defenders, the hated Blood Angels. The Berserkers have been unleashed. The Corpse Emperor's whelps must be destroyed. So this follows a Blood Berserker Sergeant as he and allied Terminators are attacking a trench system where the remaining few human defenders and the Space Marines are trying to hold out and let the city evacuate. But their position gets overrun and a massive Chaos Soul Grinder appears and, yeah, turns the tide towards chaos. So blood will flow and Khorne will be very happy. And yeah, even demons start turning up towards the end of it. It's pretty cool. We see a nice battle between the Chaos Champion and a Space Marine Captain. It could possibly continue, but it does have a very climactic finish here. The two champions met amidst the clamour of clashing blades, beneath a cascade of sparks and fire, whilst all around them, Demenor burned. So yeah, it could go on. We could have another page where it details more about the duel, because they've only just sort of met up at the end of the story. We'll have to wait and see. So, moving on then, we got a faction blurb about the Chaos Demons. So, Inquisitor Pike is back with a brand new inquisitorial report focusing this time on the Demons of Khorne. So, Khorne is ever plotting against his fellow demons, as are all the demons. He prefers to hit hard and fast with his rage and anger, seeking only bloodshed and of course skulls for his throne. He cares not where the blood flows, be it from friend or foe, only that it does and in torrents. So a lot of their demons are red of skin and wield very vicious weapons, be it claws, blades, horns, etc. The greater demons of Khorne are known as the Bloodthirsters, and the head of their order is Scarbrand, a very battered and vicious looking creature. He's lost half his face there in a previous battle and wears it as pride almost. Juggernauts are often used as mounts by the demons and even Chaos Space Marines of Khorne followers. They are massive beasts, bull-like, but also a little canine with their massive maws full of gnashing teeth. Yeah, Heralds of Khorne are often the biggest and baddest of the demons. And between Khorne and Slaanesh there is an eternal enmity. So yeah, they don't like each other very much. Moving on, we have our background information. So we got Ulrich the Slayer, Wolf High Priest. Aside from the chapter's ancient dreadnoughts, Ulrich the Slayer is the eldest of the Space Wolves. He has mentored some of the greatest champions Fenris has ever produced. He has fought for the Imperium for almost 1,000 years, and still retains the ferocity he possessed as a youth. By far one of my favourite Space Wolf characters, I think. I don't know what it is about chaplains, I just love them. Not exactly the biggest religious person, but the spiritual leaders that the chaplains are, they're more akin to priests and stuff, rather than a religious leader. Wolf priests in particular both care for spiritual and physical well-being. They take the role of apothecary and chaplain into one. And yeah, Ulrich is the head of the Wolf Priest Order. And really badass. He has only a single eye with a eye patch covering over one. He hasn't even bothered to replace it with a bionic, he just likes the eye patch. He has the wolf helm as akin to all wolf priests, and the Crozios Arcanum like all chaplains do. So yeah, down here we say how the wolf priests are unique to the Space Wolves. They perform duties of both apothecary and chaplains of other chapters. They are responsible for recruiting new warriors and are often the only Space Wolves the native Fenrisian population ever see. Because there are no wolves on Fenris, as they say. Speaking of wolves, this is Bjorn the Fell-Handed, the last of the company of Russ. Bjorn the Fell-Handed is the oldest warrior in the Imperium, save for Rabute Gilliman. The remains of his physical form are interred within the ancient dreadnought. He is a living link to the Space Wolves' deep past, the last Space Wolf to have fought at the side of the Space Wolf Primarch, Leman Russ. Bjorn is awesome. He was the first ever special character dreadnought, and he recently got an update with the Space Wolf Venerable Dreadnought kit, which could build 3 different versions: Bjorn himself, the Venerable Dreadnought, and Murder Fang, another bloody Space Wolf specific dreadnought. So he has a massive wolf talon on one arm with a heavy flamer, and either an assault cannon or a Hellfrost cannon on the other. Bjorn is refusing to die and will only die when his chapter master, Primarch, returns to the chapter to aid in the Wolf Time, a prophecy that will details the final battle of Leman Russ and the Space Wolves themselves. Next up, we have our build guide for the Servoturret. It is a push-fit model, so it goes together fairly easily. You may want to leave a few pieces in sub-assemblies just to help reaching all the details, but most you can easily get to. like I said, I'm going to be leaving the front and all the weapons loose just to make interchanging the weapons a lot easier. And you could easily not glue this down so you can have it so that he spins around a bit if you wanted to. Got the optional assembly there for the last talons, so each one's 2 halves and then goes into its position on the front plate there. Going into the paint guide then, we're painting the entire model Macragge blue, painting the Tech Marine Mephiston red, picking out all the pipes of Abaddon black, as well as some of the gun casings and bits of armor panels in places. Then picking out everything else with lead belcher, including the bionic arm and the attachments coming from the backpack. Retributor armor to pick out the gold on the magazine drums there for the autocannons. Then we're washing the entire model with Nuln Oil before Micron Flesh Shade is applied to just the gold details. We're relayering with Mephiston Red and Macragge Blue before edge highlighting with Wild Rider Red on the red and Calgar Blue on the blue. Black areas are picked out with Mechanica Standard Grey on the joints in the arms, and then Dawnstone on the weapon casings. Stormhost Silver is used to pick out the metallic details, before Corax White and Abaddon Black is used to pick out the Cog Mechanicus and the eyes on the Tech Marine. Then using Corax White, Tesseract Glow, White Scar to pick out all the final details. And it does mention to leave your model loose so you can paint the base. So yeah, glue the feet to the base, put your texture on, and then you can easily put your turret back on afterwards. Unlike the previous issue, the full data sheet is available here, so it says you can take up to 3 in a squadron. So 12 if it has 2 models, 18 if it has 3. You have the last talent as standard. You can swap to the autocannons, which the paint guide and build guide are trying to push you towards. The autocannons are Heavy 6, Strength 7, -1 and 2 damage, so take down elite infantry pretty easily. While the last talent is a dedicated anti-tank gun, Heavy 4, Strength 9, -3 with D6 damage there. So first unit we have that has the artillery keyword. Still counts as a vehicle though, but doesn't have the explode rule. All in all, quite nice. And on the reverse, we have a tutorial about making sure you deploy it in a perfect place to give it line of sight, have it protecting one objective and covering another one with its range of fire. The Firestrike Servoturret can't be placed on terrain as it is a vehicle. So let's have a read of this. So though it is primarily a defensive unit, this turret can move and has the vehicle keyword. This keyword, coupled with the model's large base, restricts its movement. Firstly, the large base can make it difficult to move the unit between pieces of terrain. If using this unit in a game, you may wish to place terrain far enough apart so that the turret's base can pass between at least some of the terrain features. In addition, the Servoturret does not have infantry, swarm, beast or fly. This means it cannot be set up or move on top of any terrain feature that has the scalable trait. So yeah, you are kind of limited to having it only on the ground, but that does kind of tie into the type of vehicle it is. Really cool. So next up then we've got our mission. We will come back to this in our battle report. So before I sign off, let's take a look at the future issues. Issue 75 sees us get our final piece of terrain. It's nice that it's not the final issues like with Conquest, where issues 79 and 80 were the 2 parts of the Magnavent walkway. And issue 76 sees our second to last Space Marine vehicle, this being the Invader ATV. We learn about Demons of Nurgle and Demons of Tzeentch, we get some nice painting tutorials, and we also have a data sheet for our ATV. There you have it. That's issue 74 of Imperium. I'm off to build this guy, and I think it's been a pretty good issue. Up next will be issue 75. I have to read all my issues, and I am trying to catch up, so I need to try and film as quickly as possible. Like I said, I'm going to be building this guy and my Locust Heavy Destroyer, so I can get them painted all in one big batch with some other models. And I'm looking forward to deploying this guy on the battlefield. It may even inspire me to pick up another one or two of them to have a good unit. Like I said, if you leave the guns and the front plate loose, you can easily interchange between the different weapon options. You can always, if you wanted to, chop your pegs off and invest in some magnets and magnetize it. Personally, myself, I'm going to just stick to the pegs. Just got to be careful not to get too much paint on the pegs, as that could cause them to get stuck and even damage. But there we have it. That was issue 74. And I am going to say thank you all for watching. Again, if you think I deserve it, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel, as always, you will be the first to know about my future mad content. That's everything. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all next time on the Imperium Journey. Goodbye.